We joined a tour and cruise with Imagine Cruising, which took us around India's Golden Triangle, including a tiger safari in Ranthambore and a train trip into the Himalayas. Day 12 marked our arrival in Mumbai, and a coach transfer to the hotel, which gave us some insight into this great city. We stayed at the Trident Hotel at Narriman Point, which is situated just 1 mile from the gateway to India and 2 miles from the cruise terminal and central railway station. This was our room, which was quite big with views right across Back Bay. Once again, the hotel was very smart and better than most British 5-star hotels. It had 2 rooftop swimming pools and an array of restaurants, each with different cuisines. As seems to be the norm in India, there was a window through from the bathroom to the bedroom. Due to the lack of sleep the night before, we went straight to bed and woke up at 5 p.m. We then took a taxi to see the main Mumbai railway station in the rush hour, hoping to see people sitting on the roofs of the trains. The Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus is a World Heritage Site, and to say it was busy was an understatement, but the trains were not overcrowded. The roads outside were even busier, and so our taxi ride to the Taj Hotel took 45 minutes to cover 3/4 of a mile, which meant we missed our 6:30 booking for high tea. Margot was not amused. The Taj Hotel was as spectacular inside as it was from the outside. So, still tired and hungry, we went across to look at the gateway to India, which is a major tourist attraction for the Indian people, and it is also the place where boat tours can be taken to Elephant Island. At the time we arrived, all the boat trips had finished, leaving us to just have a look around the monument before returning to the hotel. The Gateway of India is an arch monument completed in 1924 on the waterfront of Mumbai. It was erected to commemorate the landing of King George V for his coronation as the Emperor of India in 1911. It was certainly not our night, as we had only just missed the sunset over the bay. I thought I should placate my wife, so I told her she could choose any restaurant she wanted at the hotel and order a bottle of wine. The offer went some way to saving my bacon. The next morning, we decided to take a walk along the promenade in front of the hotel. To our surprise, we found ourselves at another UNESCO World Heritage Site. The area is referred to as the Victorian, Gothic, and Art Deco ensembles of Mumbai. These public ensembles were constructed first in the Victorian neo-Gothic style and then, in the early 20th century, in the Art Deco idiom. After returning to our hotel, we were transferred to our cruise ship, the Celebrity Millennium, to embark on our journey across the Indian Ocean to Singapore. We had an outside cabin on the ship which we found to be modern in design and spacious enough for our needs. The ship in general, although 24 years old, was very well appointed and had everything we needed, although it would be lacking in facilities for children in our opinion. But for a group of over 50s it was perfect. Our first port of call was Vasco da Gama in Goa. We were going to stay on board here to catch up on some rest. Then we realized we had Indian rupees which we needed to exchange back before leaving India, so we hired a tuk-tuk to take us to the bank. Here we see a whole family on a small motorbike, but they are so happy and friendly. Like all the Indian people we came across, they give a little wave and show a lovely smile to foreigners. After 14 incredible days, we left India and sailed on to Sri Lanka and its capital Colombo. We booked an excursion with Celebrity Cruises called Sights of Colombo. Sadly, this was the worst cruise excursion we have ever taken. The driver did not know the city and had not driven the coach before, so he stalled the engine too many times to count, and we had numerous kangaroo starts. Then, on top of this, the guide was an ex-cricketer, and so he took great pleasure in telling us all about his cricketing career and the cricket clubs of Colombo. He would point out cricket grounds, whilst magnificent buildings and statues flew past on the opposite side with no comment about them. So, I didn't get many good video shots and had to resort to mostly stills of the sights. I have no idea what they are though. On our return to the ship, we complained to the shore excursions team and were given a partial refund. This was no reflection on Celebrity, as they are just the middleman. That evening, we were entertained by a traditional Sri Lankan folk dance group. They reenacted a few of their traditional dances and paraded some of their extravagant costumes. It was a very colorful and exciting show. After the show, we went to the martini bar for some very strong martinis, before moving on to Le Petite Chef restaurant, which is an extra charge, but well worth the experience. Le Petit Chef is projected onto the table in front of you as he prepares your next course of food. However, not everything goes to plan, as the ingredients he uses fight back and often gets the upper hand. The things this poor man has to go through to prepare our meal makes it worth the extra spend. At the end of the animation, the actual dish is placed in front of you.
Thank you.
On the 17th day, we arrived in Hambantota and we took an independent excursion to Yala National Park, where we took another safari in the hope of seeing some leopards and elephants. The first thing we saw was a great white egret and a loitering nearby crocodile. Then we spotted some Colobine monkeys in the trees. Our next sighting was a land monitor lizard, which was 6 to 8 feet long. These sightings were made before we even entered the Yala National Park. Some of the birds we saw were black-headed ibis, egrets, and a painted stork. Water buffalo seemed to be found in every water hole. These birds are called black-winged stilts. Once again a black-headed ibis. At various points in the park, we got nice views of the Indian Ocean. Some of the animals were extremely close to us, like this water buffalo. We spotted some Sri Lankan axis deer in amongst the bushland. They have extremely long antlers. This land monitor was foraging for bird eggs and insects in the sand. Green bee-eaters are beautiful birds about 6 inches in length. Eventually, towards the end of our safari, we came across a solitary elephant in amongst the water lilies. We then turned around to head back towards the entrance. Later we found that there was a whole herd of elephants just 200 yards further along the road than this point. We also found out that some of the jeeps had come across a leopard, but, once again, luck was not on our side. Our eagle-eyed guide stopped us while we were driving along at about 20 miles an hour. I don't know how he saw this chameleon, as it took us a while, even after it was pointed out. Our safari came to an end too soon, as we needed to get some lunch and return to the ship before it sailed. The countryside in Sri Lanka is very lush and the traffic is very different to India. This same excursion booked with the ship would have cost £402 per person. I organized this trip with Ruhiru Tours, who communicated with us well and made sure we had a good day. The cost for 10 people was £55 including tips.
If you haven't subscribed yet, please click our logo. Thanks.